Are you a new or experienced builder? Do you want to know what it takes to make an incredible simulator map here in 2023? Well, this video is for you. So first things first, guys, simulator maps, yes, some people love them, some people hate them, and I happen to be on the love them side. I love the bright, colorful maps, and I just think it has more of a spot on Roblox than the more realistic stuff. However, with it being the easiest thing to build, we have a lot of people doing it, I won't say wrong, but I will say we could make them better. So today, I'm gonna try to give you guys a few tips and show you guys a few things that you definitely need to know when you're going to make your first map. To start things off, there are 3 popular map styles. You need to know all 3 of these before you start making a map, just so you know you're picking something that's actually playable. Roblox is, it's great, but also has some limitations. A lot of devs can push the boundaries of Roblox, but when you're making a simulator, that's not exactly why. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, guys, but just kind of copying, not copying. You know what I'm saying? I think. Here's the 3 most popular layouts. All right, guys, this might not exactly look like much to you, but it does demonstrate the 3 layouts that are just the best ones to make your game successful. First up, the linear map layout, guys. Now, guys, we can't talk about a linear map layout without making a mention of Pet Simulator X. This is the most popular simulator, I think, ever. It's got to be close with this and then Bee Swarm. But these guys, they just kind of nailed it. I mean, of course, after the success of the first Pet Simulator, this was kind of a given, but this is a perfect example of the linear map layout. The first world, honestly, build-wise, the spawn is incredible, but these sections, they could be better, but hey, it's working for them. Pet Sim's a great example of the gameplay loop being better than the builds themselves. However, the further you get into this game, the builds just get better and better, and I do think that helps with the addictiveness of the game. Like, you never know what's gonna come up next. For example, if we look at these builds, right? This desert, it looks, I would put this on like the more beginner side of Roblox building. But if we teleport to a world later in the game, look at the incredible difference, guys. There is depth in the worlds. This does not look like some new builder made it. All of this depth, I love how you can actually explore on the sides. There is Easter eggs back within all of this stuff, or not all of it, but some of it. And as you can see, the more you play this game, the more rewarding it's gonna get. Anyways, I think that's enough for the linear map layout. Up next, we have this one. I have no idea what to call it. It's sort of just a zone layout. This started back in Ninja Legends when the zones were kind of on top of each other and you would have to jump to them, but I don't think the jumping type simulators are in anymore. So we're gonna call this one the zone layout. The best example for this would honestly be all of this like new style clicker games. As you can see, everything is in this one room or one zone, and the whole idea of the game is max out this zone and then you can then move on to the next zone. I'll call this one the zone layout. Everything you need, as you can see, you can battle players, you can buy all new stuff. There's 3 different things you can buy. You can fight these guys, you can buy your pets, you can train. Everything you need is in one zone. I'll get into more of this later. This is sort of the new wave of simulators, and I'll tell you guys why I think it's working so well. Now, the last style might be slightly outdated and could use a revamp, or it's just a style that a lot of people don't use. However, I do think it's the best one, at least in my opinion. This would be like the maps Bee Swarm Simulator, or one of my first simulators called Vortex Simulator. I'll show you guys a good example that's actually built instead of a couple blocks on the floor. All right, guys, so here is this map layout. It's pretty similar to the world layout, except there's different zones in the world, if that makes sense. So this would be a zone, and then you could go up this ramp. Now we're in a new zone, so on and so forth, just a bunch of different zones. However, I think Bee Swarm Sim is sort of a specialty map of its own. Let me show you a map that's closer to the idea I was thinking about. So guys, this was one of my earlier games and we streamed the whole creation process of it. This is called Vortex Simulator. And as you can see, you start in this spawn zone, which is pretty massive, and then connecting to it are all of the other zones. Similar to the linear layout where you just start in a zone and keep going up new zones, except it's not linear and I think it looks better overall. However, players do tend to like the linear map layout better out of all of them. Maybe that could be be instant gratification when you're progressing to a new zone or a whole list of other things. But guys, if I was building a simulator right now, this one looks the best to me, but the linear map layout, I think, performs the best. Another thing, people don't really like learning new maps to where they can get lost. So say there was a zone here and then it led into another zone, well, they would lose spawn, you know, and they wouldn't know how to get back. So that's map layouts. The top 3, I would suggest if you're building a sim now, do a linear map layout. Up next, what do you need in a simulator in 2023 for it to be successful? Now, map-wise, the worst thing you can do is a copy and paste. I used to do it a lot, actually. For the linear map layout, we would have borders. So we'd have borders made for a zone, and then we would just copy that border, paste it into the next one, and change the colors so they work with that zone. This is very, very bad, just because there's nothing new for players to experience, and therefore, kind of the magic of the game is going away. If you've seen this zone, you've probably seen the one you're gonna unlock in 3 more hours of play time, and there's nothing too exciting about that. Now, even with a linear map layout, which we are going to focus on today because I do think that's the best, try not to make them rectangular or square. Now, I know that's easier said than done, and I also have to work on this too. It's sort of just a box. And if your player is inside said box, like this, nothing feels too good, and it does feel like a low-effort game. Try to add a lot of depth. PetSimX in the later zones that I showed you did this great, and it makes players feel like it's a more open-world environment, but it's still a linear layout, so they know where to go. Now, even if you do a linear layout, you need to have worlds. So we could call this World 1, and then, just like we're gonna say PetSimX, I know it might get a little old and a little repeating, but they do it great. You need to have a vastly different world. If this spawn world is a bunch of basic ideas, you know, desert, spawn, underwater, winter, all of that stuff, make your next world something crazy. Like, I don't know, a doodle world. I made a video on that and I had to plug it real quick because it was like one of my favorite videos. Anyways, guys, a doodle world, or a world that's all focused on one thing, and then the zones in that world are different but share the same interest. PetSimX, oh, I've said it so many times. Guys, there's cat worlds, dog worlds, kawaii world. There's so many different worlds, and this gives players something to look forward to and makes it so they're not feeling the same thing over and over again. I think it's insanely important to have vastly different worlds within your game just to keep things feeling fresh, because simulators are quite a bit repetitive most of the time. Now, when it comes to building a simulator map, guys, we're gonna go ahead and break this into zones. We'll say this is spawn. This one can be a desert. This can be underwater. This can be underground. This could be sunshine, and this could be the void, okay? When it comes to actually building the map and getting ready to release your game, or make your game, I should say, I would make an asset pack for each zone. This is gonna help your game not have any bit of repeating assets, which is kind of nice. It does make things feel new. Say in this spawn zone, we're gonna want some sort of a border mountain, something that looks nice and preferably not copy and pasted from another simulator. Some big flowers, maybe some mushrooms, crystals, just a bunch of stuff. I'd say 5 to 10 separate assets that will make this spawn look very nice. Maybe some fences. And then in the desert, we would make 5 to 10 more assets. Not only is this going to build up a big collection of assets for you to use in this project and many more, it's going to help your game feel a lot higher quality. It's also extremely easy to build if you already have the asset pack. Now, guys, into what I think simulators nowadays absolutely needs to be successful: the ability to AFK. Now, this is really strange. It used to be the more you can do in a simulator, the more players it would get. Like, the better the game would be. But now it's the less you have to do, the better the game is. I'll say it like this. In Ninja Legends, if you had to jump up the clouds 50 times every time you want to play the game, that gets a little bit boring, and you just don't want to do it. But if we go into a game like Arm Wrestling Simulator, which has 63,000 players, might I add, every single thing in this game you can do without playing at all. And I think that's so important in every simulator from this point forward. Make it so people don't have to play, which makes them play longer. Not only does this, of course, make your concurrent player count go up and you can flex, it also makes it so you're making a lot more money even if they don't buy anything. Premium payouts are definitely a thing and definitely nice. But check this out. Auto train free, auto fight free. If I want to auto train, I can pick any of these to train. And auto fight, I can pick any of the people to fight. The more things you can make automatic in your game, the better for you for premium payouts and players, and the better for players because they'll just sit there. Like, if I turn one of these auto things on, I can go do whatever I want in my life, and then I can come back and I've still progressed in the game. Every auto, guys, if you have one gameplay loop, make it automated. That's all you got to do. Now, a lot of developers do put the autoplay behind a paywall. It's sort of a win-lose. If you do put it behind a paywall, make it super cheap so a lot of players can get it. However, I would recommend keeping it free, as then everyone will use it. Therefore, everyone stays in your game longer, and therefore you get a little more money. You know, because money's real nice. If I could sum up everything in this video, there are 3 types of simulator maps. If I was making a simulator today, I would go with the linear map layout. If you have a main gameplay loop, which of course you do, it's a simulator, it doesn't need to be click, rebirth, repeat. It could be literally anything, and make it automated. Less is more, I guess. The less you have to play, the more you will. The more you have to play, the less you will. It doesn't make sense, but it kind of does. And then of course, even if we're all following this linear map layout, make them creative, a little wacky, add some depth, and add secrets, just stuff that players could do that they wouldn't think they could do, just to make the game feel more open, even though it's a closed environment. Anyways, guys, I hope these tips did help you make a successful simulator. And for the people who made it this far, if you have a simulator map that you would consider not exactly great, hit me up on Discord with screenshots of your map, and I will pick one. Oh, because I feel like there might be more than one person hitting me up. I'll pick one of you guys to completely remake your simulator map and then give it back to you for absolutely free. Just so everybody can see the difference between I hate saying bad, a basic simulator map and something a little bit better. By no means am I the greatest builder out there, but I'm definitely a little more advanced than most. Anyways, that is gonna wrap it up for today. If you did enjoy and you want some more content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later.